welcome to today's insightful webinar brought to you by etcfo.com, the finance community portal of Economic Times, in association with Oracle Nextsuite. My name is Alik Shah, and I am your moderator for this session. Our theme today is Future Ready Finance, how AI, cloud, and automation can unlock efficiency and provide better customer experience in financial service sector. Uh, the financial service sector is undergoing a rapid transformation led not just by new regulations or business models, but by the converge of technologies like artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and automations. These tools are redefining how finance team operates, moving beyond efficiency to enabling better decision making, real-time compliance, and more personalized customer experience. Over the next hour, we will unpack how finance leaders are adopting these innovations and what challenges they face and how they are future proofing their organizations. We will explore how modern teams are not only improving operational efficiency but also delivering seamless personalized customer experience and better services. So I have three eminent speakers with me, and I will like my speaker to introduce themselves. So, Mr. Prabhat, we will start with you.
Thanks, Alec. Hi, everyone. I'm Prabhat, CFO at InsuranceDekho. InsuranceDekho is a rapidly scaling insurtech. Typically, we deal with about 250,000 agents across the length and breadth of the country. I spent about 20 years now in finance leadership roles, across the entire spectrum of scale ups, essentially hyper growth, 0 to 1, IPO, prep, etc. And very passionate about technology in finance. Thank you.
Thanks, Prabhat. And my next guest is Mr. Vijay from Perfios Software Solution. Mr. Vijay, can we have a quick introduction about you?
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Vijay. I'm from Perfios Software. I head finance in Perfios. So in the field of finance for the last 20 years. So before Perfios, I was with Mindtree for almost 12 years. Perfios is a technology company. It's a SaaS company catering to the financial services industry. So we basically cater to all the leading banks, NBFCs, fintechs in India.
Thanks. And we have Siva Kumar from Oracle Nextsuite. Siva, welcome to the webinar.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alek, and good afternoon, the fellow speakers and also the guest audience that we have for this session. My name is Siva Kumar. I primarily manage the Oracle NetSuite business in the southern region. I bring in about 30 years of experience selling solutions to the banking, financial services, insurance vertical. Started my career in 93 and very passionate in terms of how I, as a person, can be of value to my end customer. And I'm so excited to share some of the learnings and the trends that are emerging in this particular area. Looking forward to having more interactions as we progress in this session.
Thanks, Shiva. So I will like to start with a big picture view, not just about the efficiency, but technology as a strategic. What technology has a strategic impact on finance. So my common question to all the speaker is how cloud and automation is changing the finance function within financial service sector for for not just improving operational efficiency but at a larger landscape. So Vijayji, we will start with you.
I think with AI and automation, the traditional areas of finance like accounting, bookkeeping, compliance, I think all that is taken for granted, right? Because the groundwork of invoice processing, reconciliations, reporting, all that is taken care by AI. So it just frees up the time of the finance function actually and the CFO. So the focus, I would say, is now of the CFO would be more towards strategic finance, business finance. So just to give an example, driving funding, M&A, IPO, business partnering, capital allocation, ownership of profitability, improvement, risk management. So yeah, I think that is where the largely the focus shifts to.
Copied your points, Vijay Ji and Prabhat. What's your take on this? What's your view?
Yeah, thank you, Alec. See, I think it's an excellent point. You know, we talk of improvements in efficiency. However, increasingly, typically, and as we start using more and more technology, AI tools, etc., in our teams, I think the kind of delivery mechanism or what finance really delivers, that is sort of changing, right? In the sense that earlier, let's take forecasting as an example. What is possible using AI as co-pilot? We can look at small data points, pick up trends, and then actually use those trends real time to make our insight more actionable. So I think what I and what my team really focus on, in terms of this sphere is how to sort of rethink our entire delivery model better using technology. Exactly what Vijay said, right? It's while our job of being gatekeepers, etc., will continue. How we deliver that changes and evolves, and I think technology is really driving that very very fast.
Noted your points, Prabhat, and same questions to you, Shiva. But I would also like you to explain how Oracle NextSuite is enabling this transformation, specifically for BFSI sector, along with your viewpoints on it.
Thank you so much. And I think great insights from Vijay and Prabhat, because we are actually uh, in the era of ever-changing dynamics, right? If I just have to start looking at in terms of how I have experienced this whole industry in the last 30 years or so, automation was something like I would say, a very demanding word at that point in time, where people want to embark onto automation. There are a lot of hesitation, reservation, and stuff like that. And later on, when they started looking at in terms of operationalizing few things, it was more from the strategic, not strategic standpoint, but tactical standpoint. They used to be always looking at in terms of, is it really going to be helping us? Is it really going to be improving? And what is going to be improving? Is it going to be tangible, intangible? And there was always something like a fear. If I do an automation, what happens to the people who are going to be performing certain tasks? From that era, now if I have to look at from the perspective of how the automation is getting adopted, people started moving from the islands to a platform. They are wanting to have more openness. When I say more openness, I'm talking about a platform which is open, which is interoperable, where I'm also being able to understand the ingredients in terms of what is going in. I'm just not looking at only what is getting entered, what is getting processed, how is it getting processed, how it is relevant to me, and whether I will be able to have this outcome which I can dependent or which I can depend on. You can see the kind of information consumption change that has happened over a period of last, maybe I would say, 1.5 to 2 decades, right? That is a massive shift from the way we looked at automation to consumptions of that. Those days, if I have to look at, there were always 2 or 3 areas which were coming into the play. One is, I need to mechanize my operation. Whatever I'm doing manually, I need to bring into an automation. But later on, they started looking at in terms of, it is not giving me the desired results or outcome. I'm not able to see an improvement in the efficiency. I'm not able to be swift enough to go back to my customer service, because I have just mechanized. I've not done any smartness into that. So they started looking at in terms of, there are a few tweaking and changes that they have done. So that means like your operational systems are becoming more and more efficient, more and more nimble. Now, what has happened as a resultant is the data that it was able to generate. That is a fuel for any of the business decision to happen, be it at a CIO level or a CEO level or a CFO level. I can tell you, finance function is just not looking at crunching numbers, but finance function is the cornerstone for the organization's future, whether it is going to help assess the impact in a rightful manner, take a judicious call in a timely manner. So what happens is when the data is coming in, I am able to leverage the data for having lots of insights. The insights can be related to operations. The insights can be related to the engagement that we have with our customer. The insights can be related to the kind of touch points that we talk about. And when I say customer, I'm talking about B2B, B2C, right? So these kind of things are actually eminent, prevalent today, and that's where the industry demands. We need a platform. We need everything to be orchestrated in a very seamless manner, and it should be open, explainable, interoperable, so that I'm able to see a meaningful return on investment, not only tangibly but intangibly as well. And when it comes to Oracle NetSuite, I don't want to just take too much of time in terms of what Oracle NetSuite does, but if I have to just give you the draw parallel, it actually does the same thing in terms of what we do. It takes care of the entire finance functions in a very, very efficient manner. It also leverages the data which is being generated by the system for deriving maximum insights for the leaders to take some informed decisions, which is going to help the business grow, sustain, and be relevant to their stakeholders, profitable, and so on and so forth. And also, it's so flexible, open, secure, and you are able to take care of the entire thing on the cloud infrastructure so that you don't require anything to be on your premises where you need to have a plethora of people to manage your hardware, database, operating system, and so on and so forth. If I just have to put it, it's a sea change that is happening. We are already witnessing that, and we are more and more relevant to the organizations that are looking for this kind of a transformation. Over to you, Alec.
Very meaningful points, Shiva, and it will not be wrong to conclude what all three of you said is like technology is not just improving the workflow and efficiency, but now it has become the hub for agility and the growth. This is my key takeaway from what all three of you said while answering the broader first question. I request audience to keep sharing your questions with us. We will love to hear what your thoughts are, what your queries are, and we will try to get maximum insights on your queries from our experts. So, sir, moving ahead, on the challenges part uh, of the technology and the transformation. So Vijayji, what are your thoughts? Like, what are the key challenges organization face when implementing AI, cloud, and automation, and how you, as a finance head, address them, especially in a highly regulated sector like BFSI?
I think two, three main challenges. So one is obviously the tech gap. So because finance guys are not really tech savvy, right? So they don't understand technology and they're not comfortable working with technology as well. Similarly, the technology guys are not really comfortable understanding finance or the nuances of finance. So I think that is the biggest challenge I would say. Uh, Secondly, I think mindset. I think mindset gap is also a big challenge. I would say for finance folks because most of the finance guys still think their main job is to process invoices, reconcile, report. They feel that is their biggest job. So I think it's very, very important to change their mindset and get them to do more value-added work. Uh, so that's again is change management. So I think change management is really important. Uh, One other challenge I would say is finance data is actually all in silos. You have multiple systems, you have multiple Excels, so it's spread across, right? So how do you bring all of this together? I think that is one other challenge that everybody faces. Because unless you bring this all together, it is not really valuable. So it's very, very important to bring all the data together because AI is only as good as the data feeding it, right?
True.
So Yeah, and finally, I think poor governance. I think again, data cleanliness is really important. It's important to have proper governance around data, because they say you can't automate chaos, right? First, you need to start with the cleansing of data. Uh, so yeah, I think it's important to make sure the data is clean, cleanse it before you start building out on.
Meaningful points, Vijayji. Prabhat, what is your viewpoint? Like as a CFO, specifically from the insurance sector, what challenges do you see?
So I think one, I'll definitely echo Vijay's point on mindset, but I think Vijay said it very well. See, another area that I think definitely I feel that we can do better is also sort of imagining what is possible, and essentially we tend to think incrementally, in terms of technology, not sort of reinvention of process. For example, ChatGPT, again, most people, including myself in a lot of ways, use ChatGPT as an extension of Google. There are so many other things that are possible, but there is data which says 80% of the usage is essentially just search, which is essentially just a replacement of Google. Now, and in my view, that translates, further, because if you don't think through, then you don't hire for those capabilities, and then it becomes a vicious cycle where sort of adoption and all becomes slower. That I think is an equally large challenge. Of course, mindset, data hygiene, etc., which is already spoken about. That I will not repeat. But I think understanding the technology for us finance folks, and then really thinking what is possible, and then driving the change first within our functions and then throughout the larger organization is critical. And sometimes we tend to miss that out.
Copied your points, Prabhat, and Sivaji, from your personal experience, like from your first-hand experience, what kind of clients come to you with their separate sort of challenges in terms of the adaptation of technology, and how Oracle NextSuite is helping them solving or providing solutions for these challenges?
Uh, Basis our experience, if you look at irrespective of various industries, if I just have to kind of look at from uh, staying only with BFSI as a sector, which is fairly regulated, well matured industry from that perspective, uh, the kind of interaction that we have with various stakeholders, their top three or four areas that they prefer to have is basically to look at in terms of how they are able to. I think Vijay brought in that point, very very valid, where they want to depend on one something like a single version of truth. While I have multiple operations, multiple departments will, multiple functions will have their own priorities, their KPIs, and it all kind of aggregate to the corporate level. But at the end of the day, the data that needs to be consumed has to be relevant, timely, and it should be dependable, which is something like a single version of truth. That is the first thing that they look at. The second aspect that they are looking for is, while IT plays a pivotal role as a facilitator, but they want to slowly look at in terms of once that entire environment is set up, where they have all the nuances taken care, the business wants to be taking the ownership by looking at in terms of leveraging that system to its fullest potential. Of course, you don't expect them to be a coding expert or a wizard in analytics and stuff like that. They need to just bring in some amount of analytical ability just to understand how this particular data is being representing, and what is the problem that I'm seeking solution for. That question itself is enough for them to start building in terms of how they can get answers from the system. That is the second aspect. Third, that they typically look at from the overall engagement, be it from the automation or digital transformation perspective, is I should be in a position to look at uh, filing my returns to my stakeholders, to my investors, and to the regulators in a timely manner so that I am not going to be taxed in terms of any of those mundane jobs that I need to do, because it's actually critical, necessary, but I should be able to do it with a lot more ease. So these three areas are there from the expectation perspective. Now, there is also a fourth dimension that comes. Typically, what happens when you talk about AI, when you talk about the insights that they would like to look at, most of the organizations, be it banks, financial institutions, your insurance companies, every asset management companies, wealth management companies, financial services like NBFCs, they do face certain specific challenges which are industry linked, and also there are specific to their own organizations, inherent some challenges. So in that cases, what we have been hearing is certain use cases that they would like to put that in place so that they're able to start getting answers faster, they're able to implement it, they're able to see that there is a value that is coming in, then they start the journey in terms of the evolution. I'll take one more second extra. One of the gentlemen had asked in the question Q&A that how NetSuite is embedding, or how NetSuite is doing AI in budgeting and planning, reconciliation, and etc. One thing which, thanks for the question. It's extremely valuable question that you had posed. Thanks for that. NetSuite as a product organization has a very clear philosophy in terms of the roadmap. We don't want to look at in terms of doing the AI as a plugin. It gets embedded at every stage of our product development. And today, if you look at, AI is embedded, AI is bolted on. It's not kind of built on. It's built in. It's not bolted on. So that means, like, if I have to look at reconciliation, there are AI related enablement that are already happened, where you will be able to do your multi-way reconciliation, three-way reconciliation, and stuff like that. It prompts few things that are extremely important for the individuals which are running that particular aspect. Same way, there are quite a lot of things that are happening on the budgeting and planning, especially when you talk about, I think one very, very important point that even our fellow panelist Vijay was saying, even Prabhat was saying, forecasting. That's something where you bring in quite a lot of ingredients so that you don't miss out on any of the factors. The moment you miss out on any of the factors that are available to us to use, we are able to be that, uh, uh, you know, our models or our forecasting accuracy increases quite a lot. Because like today, if you ask me, you always look at in terms of business as usual, best case, worst case. So if I have to look at from that perspective, I need to bring in all the seasonalities, all the other parameters which are going to help me predict my future, maybe in next 2 quarters, next 3 quarters, next 4 quarters. So I'm able to get my data, understand the behavior, do the behavior analysis, get all those, what do you say, uh, inputs that are going to help you predict your models and predict your business through the data. Of course, like you'll have to have your personal experience, which is going to kind of combine with the data that is giving you an output for you to take some strategic decisions which are good for the organization. So, in a nutshell, NetSuite provides those capabilities which the organization are leveraging and will be able to leverage.
Uh, I copied your points, Shiva, and my key takeaways from what all of you said is the first and foremost important thing to overcoming challenges of adopting technology is culture, data discipline, and forecasting. So all three are really, really important. And now I will like to move to a very important part of this conversation, and that is the role of technology, innovation, AI in delivering better customer experience and services to the end services. So Vijay ji, I will once again start with you. Uh, so can you share a few examples from your team or how you as a finance head is leveraging technology to offer more personalized and seamless services to your customers?
Sure, sure. See, AI is a big focus area for us. We are a technology company, we are a SaaS company, so AI is a big focus area, and all the departments within the organization, we've taken up a lot of AI-related initiatives. See, some of the things that in finance we're trying to do is we're trying to build a conversational AI interface, right? Wherein we are trying to upload all the policies like travel policies, variable pay policies, and wherein employees can just chat with this interface and get in natural language, just chat and get the answers to all their queries. What we're also trying to do is we're also trying to build a data lake for all the MIS data that we have, so that the business teams can actually be in natural language, raise their queries, and get the data. Because every now and then, business teams keep reaching out to us, trying to understand what is the revenue, what is how are we doing in terms of profitability, and so on and so forth. Right. So that is something that we're trying to do. Again, the front end teams, while submitting their RFPs, they reach out to us a lot of times because they want to know what is the company revenue, what is the profitability, which needs to go into RFPs and other customer related documents. So again, there is a interface that we built, natural language interface, conversational interface that we built, which will actually kind of cater to their queries. These are just some of the examples, yeah, that we have.
Insightful points, Vijay ji and Prabhat. How you, particularly in the insurance sector, how you are providing better customer experience and like more personalized services to your clients using AI and technology.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Alex. See, for us, we are a B2B2C platform. Most of our customers are essentially agents who will further resell policies. And I think, while there are many applications, the single most important point for an agent to sort of work with a platform is getting his money on time, accurately, and then having visibility as to what he's getting paid, how that amount is being calculated, and so on. It sounds mundane. However, at the end of the day, we've done some analysis, and 30 to 40% churn in our agents gets attributable to this one single point. So it's essentially business critical. What we've been able to do is two or three things. Essentially build detailed rule books, at an agent, at an insurance policy level, to make sure that the process works very fast. So, A, we are able to turn around payouts, on time. B, the accuracy keeps getting better and better, essentially. And C, the visibility essentially into the payout, for what policy, how is the rate getting calculated, and so on, becomes more accurate. So, combined, essentially, it just strengthens the trust that the agent has in the platform, which goes a long way to preventing churn. I think, while, we take many AI initiatives, I think there's one thing specifically for finance has been a real game changer.
So I would like to understand from you, like how you are helping your clients to target a right sort of customer base, or to like provide better customer satisfaction and personalized services to the customer, to the end customer, using the AI and the automation tools. What special things you have in your toolkit to deliver for your clients?
If I just have to look at uh, giving you a quick answer, NetSuite again is something like a entirely a comprehensive platform which embeds the finance function, the analytics capabilities, the entire storage, and then you have all your insights that can be consumed by various stakeholders. When I say this insights, I'm talking about it can be like your dashboards, it can be so on and so forth. Um, when it comes to how NetSuite helps these organizations, if I have to just look at in terms of taking insurance as an example, um, typically what NetSuite has the capability to do is to work on persistence, the persistency. If I have to just look at it in terms of which customer is likely to renew my policy and which customer is not going to renew my policy and why that person is not renewing the policy. So you're able to have those insights which we can act upon proactively rather than reactively. Just to give you an example. The second aspect, if I have to just look at from the financial services side of it, obviously we are going to be doing a lot of things around lending, right? You do a lot of lending, which will be both secured, unsecured. I'm talking retail as a area right now. We can talk about SMEs and other aspects also. But if I have to look at from retail, I also need to ensure that I'm kind of lending to the right profile so that my advances don't go bad. My loan doesn't go bad because it's a hard-earned money. The resources cannot go unpaid because the ROI gets affected. You find extremely a different kind of a situation, right? So then you look at in terms of having a right scoring that happens to look at beyond your application scores. If you remember, I was just talking about my first question where people used to be doing this on silos. Like I used to be seeing loan origination system, then the main operational system, be it a total branch automation or a core banking, will take over that once the loan is sanctioned. Then they will start looking at in terms of every account is being maintained in the core banking system when they all the repayments are getting captured there, and then so on and so forth. The entire today, if you look at, there are loan life cycle management system right from the lead to closure. It is now happening in one single platform. So you are able to have that platform integrated with your insights which NetSuite provides, so that you are able to make that platform so agile, so robust, so meaningful, so that you're able to take some informed decisions. That is another area of that. Another question that you may be also looking at in terms of saying that, like the customer satisfaction. When I want to look at in terms of doing certain things, I may be running some campaigns. I want to ensure that how my campaign is running successfully. Whether are there takers for me? I don't want a situation there is a spray and then I'll start praying for my results. That's not the way that we work, and I don't think majority of the organizations don't work in that way because everything is now going to be measured as an outcome. If I put some money on the table, what is in it for me? What is the return for me? So there is a close looping happening. The moment you run a campaign, you do the close looping, see in terms of how this campaign is successful. All that can be done through NetSuite. And of course, we have our friend Vijay Perfios. They are actually into kind of a very good area in terms of the fraud detection, fraud monitoring, fraud prevention areas. It also looks at NetSuite also provides additional facilities in terms of model-based fraud models that can be leveraged, especially in the organizations like insurance fraud, claims fraud, or even in your non-banking and financial institution, they can look at in terms of application fraud and those kind of stuff. So you are able to give them the platform is capable of doing so many things, prioritize what is to be done, and that's the way that it can evolve along with the organization's needs.
Meaningful point, Siva. But one more thing I will like you to address on, and it is a query from various customers,
Mm-hmm.
and every customer, what every customer wants is real-time responsiveness
Yep, yep, very
that
true.
customers value deeply. So, particularly in that direction, what Oracle NextSuite has to offer to its clients.
Actually, if you look at from that perspective, it's as good as something like a real-time kind of a ingestion that can happen. Typically, what happens, most of our esteemed participants will know there is an operational system that is available. Operational systems are running their day-to-day operations. The data keeps coming in to the backend systems like your ERP, the analytics engine, and so on and so forth. You will be able to look at providing a pipe which is going to keep getting this information as and when it is happening. So the ability for you to monitor things in a structured manner is already available, and it's actually like we as an Oracle organization, technology organization, we do provide that kind of ability for these organizations to leverage. And I think there is one more question that came in from one of the gentlemen, Mr. Chandramouli. Even though AI's big focus still is not completely embedded into the financial function. Yes, I think it is in the evolution right now. If you look at, it's a very valid observation. But as we said, like if this was about year back, would have been a different picture. Today, there are some baby steps happening. We are able to bring in more amount of capabilities which are going to be helping with a lot of intuition, a lot of intelligence getting embedded. So you'll see more and more, ingestion of these things into the function, which is going to help any organization. I'm not talking only about Oracle. Any organization that is to stay relevant, they have to do that.
Very interesting and meaningful, Shiva. And now I would like to shift my focus to the compliance and the governance part. How AI automation and the innovations are helping CFOs and finance team solve the problem of compliance and governance. Because we being a ETCFO, a CFO focused portal, when we interact with CFOs, 8 out of 10 CFOs says that compliance is something that they fears or something that gives them sleepless nights. So compliance is really an important factors, important challenge in front of CFOs. So firstly, I would love to listen from Prabhat about the compliance part as a CFO, uh, how you are using AI and the automation to solve the challenges of compliance in front of you.
Yeah, thanks, Alec. I think compliance and regulatory changes are something that keep us awake, day in and day out. And the you can't get it wrong. I mean, we can talk about all the nice bits of finance, but that is basic hygiene. You can't get it wrong. And I've worked across a range of startups in the past. Typically, the challenge that comes in it's also looked at as a business blocker. And some of it, in my view, is it's deliberate because you want to slow down things, put guardrails, so you can essentially weed out the bad actors. I think what AI is enabling us to do is two things. A, it's able to churn large amounts of data. So pattern detection, etc., is something that from a human point of view, typically we will not be able to make those links, and we genuinely use AI as a co-pilot to throw up red areas. Essentially, that makes me sleep better because there are enhanced tools that are essentially helping me do my job better. What it also does is, on the contrary side, it sort of, because we know where the reds are, we don't broad brush and put guardrails all over. We are able to sort of essentially put the right guardrails in the right places, which means that a large part of the business sort of doesn't get constrained needlessly, which with the companies I work is also equally important. So we are able to sort of make sure the right guardrails are there while doing a better job of promoting speed in the business as well. And I think that is the biggest use case that has come about in the last year or so as we've started adopting technology better for these areas.
Shiva, you want to add anything particularly
I
on
will,
the
I will,
compliance part?
I will. I believe like I'll just take a step back from the AI perspective when it comes to compliance. But what is typically expected by most of the regulators today in India is they need a minimal manual intervention when it comes to presenting the data to the regulator for their consumption. I have lived that particular thing when I was, running my BFSI vertical. Uh, I just take a banking example. Reserve Bank of India used to be coming with a mandate saying that there should be something like an ADF, automated data flow. The automated data flow is nothing but where every bank has to report their operations on a periodic basis stipulated by RBI with various returns. Later on, they started looking at in terms of saying that like why I need to wait for the bank to submit. Let the bank keep it in a place where I am earmarking there in their bank's premises. I will pick it up when I need it. In the sense, like, I will pick it up at my will. They moved from ADF to something like a centralized information management system, SIMS. Now, from that perspective, if you look at the very purpose of they introducing this was they have to have automation in every possible area in an institution. It can be your banks, it can be insurance company, or it can be any other entity, including NBFC. More and more, we see they want to look at ensuring that this data is not manipulated. The data, as it got generated, I should be able to get that piece of information for my analysis and insights, which will help me build my policy for the country and for the industry. That is a key uh, development that has happened in the last, I would say, 7 to 8 years in the RBI world. Even if you look at on the IRDA side, they are also embarking or embarked already in terms of bringing in some stringent regulatory norms to ensure that you are able to have these disclosures going on time, comes submission of compliance reports, and so on and so forth. So I believe there is a massive transformation that has happened, and automation is something which is extremely important for these organizations. And you may come with a follow-up question in terms of whether NetSuite is able to do all this. No, NetSuite will not be able to do all this because you have an operational system, you have various functions. There are some specialized solutions available where you are able to now cull out all this data, put it in a central repository like NetSuite as a platform to leverage the data in a non-manipulated way to give those returns to these regulatory authorities. So
Uh,
that's what we look at. I hope that it addresses what you are wanting to understand in terms of how the industry is behaving, how NetSuite can be of value, or how Oracle can be of value.
Sure, Shiva, very meaningful. And I will once again come to you on the compliance part, asking you with what kind of queries CFOs are coming to you and how you are handling them. But let me first ask Vijay ji about his experience or how his case study about in his finance team, how uh, he is solving compliance problem with the use of automation and AI.
No, I think like Prabhat and I think Shiva covered. I think one of the advantages of AI is it actually monitors transactions and process in real time to flag off any anomalies. I think that is one of the biggest advantages. Secondly, I think see what automation does is automation when you have AI and automation, it kind of eliminates human error and it ensures timely and standardized reporting, right? Some of the regulatory reporting that is required, so that can be automated, eliminating human error. Secondly, also with the RPA, robotic process automation, a lot of controls can be built in, I think, and test controls can be built across processes, right? I think that is one of the other things that can be done. Secondly, or lastly, I would say, I think audit trail becomes very, very easier. I think with automated systems and AI and everything, it's easy to explain. Visibility and traceability of data flows and changes becomes a lot more easier. This is something which all the regulatory authorities have been now asking for.
Copied your point, Shiva. You want to add anything on what Vijayji said?
I think
And
he's
also,
absolutely.
I will request you to address to my question specifically regarding to CFOs. What Oracle NextSuite has to offer to CFOs and finance head in terms of the compliance handling.
Yeah, understood. I think one is like is spot on from the perspective of what Vijay has articulated. If I just have to look at from the compliance perspective, there are two aspects that are very standing out very clearly from the CFO's expectation. One, timely submission of those returns. Secondly, how dependable this data is. So there be a lot of checks and balances before it actually gets reported. So from that perspective, there is always uh, discussions. And of course, like if you look at from the NetSuite, or I'll not talk only about NetSuite. Even if you look at other ERPs, they have fairly built a lot of checks and balances. Validations are pretty watertight, and you are able to depend on the data. And if there are some corrections that need to be done, we do look at in terms of where there is a issue at the time of data capture and stuff like that. So get this reconciled, get it corrected, and the kind of data that they are using it, which are there in the system, they are able to be more confident, comfortable in submitting their disclosures. And secondly, even before this just getting submitted, there are internal audits that happens. So they do a checks and balances, clears off, then it goes to the next level. So from that perspective, the major ask from the CFO is like whether I'm able to look at in terms of making a timely submission, whether this data, all your checks and balances are in place. So you're handled every possible scenarios so that like we don't have to have any issues later on uh, from the compliance and other aspects of it. So typically that is what we encounter as a question. Of course, like about any ERP which has been in the market, they have to uh, what do you say, stand this test before they say that like they have done so many implementations, and so many customers have been using that. So from that perspective, um, I would not say most, every CFO is pretty confident in terms of what they are embarking onto.
Noted your points, Shiva, and we have addressed the part of how AI and technology is providing efficiency. We have addressed on the part of customer experience and compliance. Now I would like to shift my focus in terms of the priorities which CFOs and finance head in terms of adaptation of compliance. So Prabhat, I will start with you again. What are your top three priorities as a CFO for building your organization a tech-enabled, future-ready organization?
So I think a big priority is actually, to be honest, setting the tone at the top that, at the end of the day, we want to solve and enable our function through technology. And, as CFO, I think I am responsible for sending out communication and that thought process to my team, through which, their actions get shaped. I think the other part is then enabling that, which is a mixture of making sure that the team is staffed right, and increasingly we find, and we've added people who are more adept at technology, in terms of programming, in terms of AI exposure, in terms of just general working with technology, and staffing has sort of pivoted in that direction. I think the other layer that gets built in is L&D, and continuous training around what is available, and typically how different teams are utilizing it becomes critical. So I think those things we focus on, right? And at the end of the day, I think it's equally important for us as CFO to keep ourselves updated. I think that becomes equally important, because how else do you drive the change?
Very interesting, Prabhat, and very interesting point. Vijayji, you want to add your remarks to it? Seems like we have lost touch with Vijayji. I hope he will reconnect with us again. Shiva, your point of view on it about how should CFOs ideally eye the adaptation of technology and what should be their priorities?
Rather than I say what should be their priorities, basis are my interactions with the plethora of eminent CFOs and the CFO community. They are playing an extremely pivotal role on largely three aspects. One, uh, the organization growth. Second, the sustainability, how things happen. Invariably, why I'm talking about these two areas, which are just I'm taking these two aspects to give you a perspective, everything, whatever that they are going to be doing, it is just going to come to the CFO's office in terms of numbers. They should have a positive impact. And if there are something which needs to be going RE, they should be in a position to immediately act upon, so that they are able to bring back uh, the course correction or steadying the ship or so on and so forth. So the priority, according to my understanding so far with my interactions with various CFOs, over and above what Prabhat told, is to have the sustainable growth, and the technology should be something which would be an enabler, and it should not be a deterrent for their growth. And anything which is going to be something where you look at embarking onto any technology adoption, it should be sustainable for next at least, on a short term basis, I will say 5 years, on a midterm 10 and beyond. So that means, like, when you are going to be when the organization is on a growth path, I don't want to look at, unless otherwise there is a drastic change that is happening in the technology field where the complexions are going absolutely at a different level. This should be able to sustain, and it should be scalable, and it is able to be an enabler for their business, right? And to be honest, I can make it very simple. Compliance should be a given when they enter into this kind of a engagement, and that is a basic minimum expectation by any CFO. It should get met, come what may.
Very interesting, Siva, and last 5 minutes of the conversations are with us. And I have one question which I want each one of you to address very quickly and very shortly, and that is like how to measure early wins when it comes early wins or early outcomes. Team can measure when adopting technology, cloud, and AI. Uh, Prabhat, we'll start with you, and then Shiva, you can address as well.
Thanks, Alec. I think what is really critical is when you start a technology adoption, first of all, you have to be clear what the technology will drive.
Yep.
And increasingly, and this is a question, I typically get asked, you've deployed a certain process. What is the headcount saving you've achieved? And in most cases, probably headcount saving is actually not the objective of technology deployment. There are a lot of other areas that get addressed. So I think before we start measuring wins, I think even there's a step before that where we actually define what this technology is actually going to solve for. And once that happens, I think success metrics and the right sort of goalposts get articulated. Wins is essentially just stacking up where you are against those goalposts. But setting the right goalposts at inception is critical in my view.
So, what's your take on this? Like, what do you want to
If I
add?
just have to look at from, I'll take two areas from here: cloud and automation. If I just have to look at from the adoption of cloud, more and more organizations are getting into the cloud for the reason that entire thing is available, wherein the entire service levels and other aspects of it are taken care by um, the the solution provider who is able to be doing this for their bread and butter. Automation, as I told you, it has evolved, it continues to evolve, and data becomes more and more uh, important, rampant, from the perspective of how you can leverage for insights. I'm not only talking about the structured data, we are talking about unstructured data also, which is also equally important for the organizations which they want to understand their the brand equity, the customer sentiments, and so on and so forth. I've seen that happening in very many organizations where they leverage both structured and unstructured data from that perspective. Um, so, third thing that I'm seeing as a trend, I would say, is more and more organizations which are wanting, even though they want to start small, they always have a big picture in terms of what should be my next 2 years, 3 years horizon, what should be my current state, and what should be my next end state, or whatever that way. Uh, People do look at more from the platform perspective. Point solutions, unless otherwise there is something that is absolutely not replaceable, that's where they just settle on point solutions. Otherwise, I think they look at platform, because there are instances where whether we like it, we don't like it, it will increase the overall overheads of the operations in the organization when you have multiple systems. But when you have a single platform, it is able to give you to that kind of comfort and ease of operation. One question that came in the question and answer window about ESG, very valid, pertinent question. Because NetSuite is a platform, has the ability for collecting data from various heterogeneous systems from the organization. You will be in a position to look at in terms of collating the entire data. You can arrive at because ESG is actually an evolving phenomenon and will continue to be evolving as you progress. It's not going to be something like where I'll have a zero carbon footprint in maybe next 2 years or 3 years, depending on the complexity of the organization, depending on the journey that we are taking. You will be able to track it to the T by having a platform like NetSuite, so that you are able to collect the data. You are able to look at in terms of workforce involved in terms of doing this, and what is the kind of budget that we are talking about. Are we doing overrun on budget? Are we within the budget? And how the project ESG as a project, you can track it as well. So we can discuss more as we progress. If you are very keen to understand from us, we'll be more than happy to kind of provide you Mr. Arun. We'll be more than happy to kind of engage with you, and you can see in terms of how we can be of value to you.
Very meaningful, Shiva, and like Prabhat, concluding remarks from your side. How will you sum up this discussion in a few words?
It's very insightful, lot of perspective, and thank you, Shiva. Which is not here, but please convey my thanks to him as well. Very enriching and insightful. Thank you.
Prabhat,
Shiva,
thank you so much.
your key takeaways
Prabhat,
from this session.
yeah, I
Very
think
short.
first and foremost, thanks for the participants who have posed very relevant questions. And in case we are not able to kind of answer to its totality, because like this questions can actually take into quite a lot of meaningful conversation, constructive conversation. We do respect that, but I really appreciate the question that came in. Very pertinent, valuable questions. We can kind of discuss with you as we progress. Prabhat, thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you. Amazing
Likewise.
insights you brought into the whole thing, made it very lively. And thanks, Alek, for having a very inducive questions for the audience to get some what do you say insights in terms of what we are talking about from the industry perspective. And overall, I think really enjoyed this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shiva. And the key takeaway for me from this discussion is like technology like AI, cloud, ERP, etc. are no longer optional. They are now the foundation for innovation, compliance, and excellent customer experience. So the forward-looking finance leaders are investing in the systems, and so the system is offering them back with real-time scalability and resilience. So this is my takeaway from this session. Thank you so much, Prabhat, Vijay ji, and Shiva for joining this conversation. And a special thanks to our audience for spending an hour with us. I hope you find this conversation insightful and meaningful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
everyone. Really appreciate. Thank you. Bye.